What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are talking about a player the Detroit Lions held a workout with today. You may know him. Let's get it started.
What's up, guys? Jeremy Davis here, wide receiver for the Detroit Lions. Just want to encourage the Lions fans and any football fans in general to subscribe to my guy's channel, DoseOfDion.
Welcome in, everybody, to another video. Glad you guys are here. And today, man, we have some more tryout information. We are discussing a player that the Detroit Lions held a workout with today, and it is a quarterback, which is very interesting. But before we get started, we got to go check out the whiteboard-worthy question of today's video. It says, which NFC North foe do you dislike the most? Is it Chicago, Green Bay, or Minnesota? Now, me personally, it's easy. It's obviously Green Bay. And I think a lot of it has to do with Aaron Rodgers. It's that man, Aaron Rodgers, not that bad man. Okay, he may be trash. Not that bad man, Aaron Rodgers. Now, Minnesota's close. I don't like Chicago either. But something about Green Bay, man, just gets under your skin, man. I can't stand Green Bay. So Green Bay's definitely that team, but I don't like the other NFC North teams either. So don't take anything out of context. Now, let's get into today's video. So we're talking about a quarterback that's a little bit, I would say, infamous for his 0-15 record with the Cleveland Browns. Now, look, this is kind of interesting. Lions went 0-16 one year. This quarterback went 0-15 as a starter one year. It's a match made in heaven, okay? Detroit Lions won 0 games a year. This guy won 0 games in a year. That is Deshone Kiser. It's super unfortunate. He was with a really bad Cleveland Browns team, so it's not all his fault. Some of it is, but it's not all his fault. We understand that. Deshone Kiser, 0-15, just a few years ago with the Cleveland Browns. I'm pretty sure he went to a high school near me. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure what that school was, but I'm pretty sure he went to a high school very near me. I may have seen him play, but I'm not sure I did. I don't remember that well. That stuff's kind of blurry. Like, the last 2 years kind of blurry, right? No, I'm just playing. I have no idea. I don't remember, though. I think that he went to a high school near me. But we're discussing Deshone Kiser, a quarterback that was a pretty high draft pick out of Notre Dame, who has bounced around the league a little bit. He's played with the Packers. He's played with the Raiders, who he's most recently with. And again, he was brought in by the Cleveland Browns. So he's bounced around the league a little bit, but he hasn't had much success in the NFL. And in today's video, we're going to talk about him a little bit, kind of break down what he does well, what he doesn't do well. Now, if the Lions do sign him, we'll do a full-on breakdown. Now, the Detroit Lions quarterback position consists of Matthew Stafford, Chase Daniel, and David Blau. When I look at that, I say, okay, I don't see a spot for him. I think David Blau is going to either make the team or he'll be, on the practice squad. But I like David Blau. Chase Daniel, I don't see anybody taking that backup position, not after what we paid him. And, of course, Matthew Stafford, the greatest quarterback of all time. Sorry, I know that's going to make some people mad. I know it will. Fourth greatest quarterback in the NFL right now. That's facts. It may be number 1 by the end of the year. So we're talking about Deshone Kiser. Now, I don't really think the Lions are going to sign him. I don't really see a spot for Deshone Kiser, if I'm being honest here. But it is always good to have some competition. Just kind of let you know that, hey, we might bring in a position. We might bring the player to that position. So don't get confident that your role is secure. And I'm always good with that. Now, Deshone Kiser does bring some intangibles that can be, very interesting as a fan. You could look at some of, what he brings to the table and say, okay, I can see how this would work. He's got the size. He's got some mobility. But on the field, he definitely has a lot of problems. Now, there is some things that I think he does well, because we're going to get into that. There's also things that he struggles at. In the NFL, his stats have been pretty darn awful. I don't even know if I want to run through these. We will. 53% completion percentage, 3,081 yards. This is 2 years combined. He didn't really play that second year. 11 touchdowns to 24 interceptions. Yeah, you heard that right. A 4.6% interception rate, 5.9 yards per attempt, and a 58.9 pass rating. Yeah, those stats are rough, okay? Let's just act like we didn't see those. Fresh start, Deshone Kiser. What do I see from you on the field? Let's start off what he does well, and then we'll get into things that I don't think he does very well. Starting off with the strengths, here we go. The first thing is he's a rushing threat. Like I said, hey, this can be always interesting. When you look at quarterbacks, you see a guy that's mobile, right? A guy that can do both. That automatically makes fans excited. They're like, oh, snap. Ooh, snap, Michael Vick. Ooh, oh my, is this Cam Newton? Is this MVP Cam Newton? No, it's not. It's Deshone Kiser. Look, the mobility's great, and the tangibles are there. And that's something that, you really can't work with. You can't make Matthew Stafford Russell Wilson. It's just not going to happen. But it can help. It can definitely add to your game. It can't make your game. You can't just be a runner. You have to be able to throw the football. You're a quarterback. You have to be able to throw the ball. You have to be able to read the defense. Honestly, you have to be able to manage that offense. And I think it's more mental than anything for a quarterback. And for a guy like this, the intangibles are there. He's a rushing threat. They use him a lot in the red zone, especially in college. I believe he had 18 red zone touchdowns in 2 years at Notre Dame. That's pretty impressive, okay? A lot of designed runs, a lot of read options. So, you can open up the playbook a little bit. And we know Darrell Bevel was with Russell Wilson. So that could be an interesting look if he was on the field with Darrell Bevel. I obviously don't see that happening. But if he was, that would be interesting, because I'm sure he'd be familiar with a guy that can move around a little bit. Continuing with things that I think he does well. I like his pass. I like his fade routes. His back shoulder passes, I feel like, are usually pretty accurate. Not all the time. I mean, no everyone's passes are, but I feel like most of the time he's pretty accurate on those back shoulder passes. It definitely helps in, red zone situations so you can throw some fade routes, and he's pretty accurate with those. Like, surprisingly, I was like, oh, that's kind of a dot. He also loves the seam routes. Now, this can be good, this can be bad. Sometimes he throws it too often when it's not there, but a lot of times he throws it a lot, and he's had so much repetition with it. He's pretty good. Like, he spots that ball pretty darn well in the seam route, whether he needs to kind of throw it a little bit behind him, that way the defender is not, there to pick it off, or he needs to lead him a little bit. He can kind of do both. Deshone Kiser really likes those seam routes. So you get him a slot wide receiver, you get him a tight end that can run the seam routes. That could be an option that he goes to over and over and over. I see this. I feel that he sees this. I see that he feels this. Messed that up. When I watch Deshone Kiser play, he gets sacked a lot. He will get sacked a lot, and I think there's some reasons for that. We'll get into that in a second. But I think one thing he does well is he can feel that pressure, especially behind him. The blind side, he can kind of feel that. I feel him start to move, use that mobility, he starts to kind of step in the pocket. He feels that pressure, and he's very calm under pressure. This guy won't flip out. If there's pressure, he's not just fling it, right? It's not like that. He's pretty calm under pressure. The problem is I feel like he's almost too calm under pressure. Sometimes under pressure, he'll just stand there, and it's like, buddy, you got to at least move or throw it or something. He'll just stand there. I mean, he's going to hold that thing the last second. Now, I think he's improved upon that a little bit since, he's been in the league, but I think that's a big problem, right? He feels that pressure. He's very calm, and I think sometimes he is too calm. So moving on to things that I think that he could definitely improve, and also another strength, he's not afraid to take some shots. Now, he's not going to throw a lot of deep balls. We saw 5.9 yards per attempt. Obviously, that has to do with scheme as well. He won't take tons of deep shots, but he's not afraid to. I mean, it's not something that he was ever afraid to do even back in college. And moving on to things that I think he could work on. W stands for work, not weakness. Things that he can work on. I think, definitely holding on to the ball too long. And I think a lot of that stems from one. He focuses a lot on the top receivers, okay? Whether it's the one or number two, he focuses. Whoever that main target is going onto the field, he's going to focus on that guy and try to find a way to get him the ball. And it's like, sometimes it's like, dude, you just got to look somewhere else. He'll stare it down. Even if he doesn't stare it down, he's just trying to wait for that option to get open. And if it's not there, that's where mistakes happen because he doesn't always, go elsewhere. And sometimes, and when he does go elsewhere, it's when he scrambles out the pocket, he sees it underneath and he dumps it down. But if he's in the pocket, he will stare that main option down. So I think that's definitely a problem. And I think, again, that's mental, that's reading the defense. And I think those are possibly two of the most important things that a quarterback can have. All the intangibles are great, but if you're not mentally smart enough, you're not strong enough mentally, and you can't read a defense, you're not going to be successful in the National Football League as a quarterback. It just won't happen. He also has a tendency to have some overthrows and some overthrows. Now, this happens to everybody, but I see him on a couple of specific routes. Overthrows. I see a lot of high passes on slants. He doesn't necessarily seem to always put this in the right spot. He throws a lot of high passes. A lot of times receivers are reaching up for it, and if they're not, it's completely over their head. And that can be dangerous with safeties and corners in the back end, especially in zone. They can jump those. You got to be really careful. And when it comes to underthrowing a lot of things, it's those deep in routes, right? It's the 25, 30-yard passes that he seems to underthrow at times. And I don't think he has the biggest arm strength, but he could throw it that far because we've seen on seam routes. I think it's more the route. And he'll seem to underthrow those a lot of times, comebacks, things like that, right? Really good timing routes. And I think that's the problem, right? It's the timing hasn't been there. And I think half that has to do with the scheme he's been with, the talent he's been with. I mean, he hasn't been with a lot of help, right? But I think a lot of that is, his mental awareness as a quarterback. And I think those are the things that are the toughest things to teach, honestly. And that's the things you have to look for a quarterback coming out of college and a quarterback in the NFL. Personally, I don't think he makes the team, but he does have the intangibles. He has the skills and the abilities that can make you say, hey, we might be able to make this work. So I love the fact that the Lions are bringing in some competition here, man. I wish him the best. If he doesn't end up with the Lions, hopefully he ends up somewhere else and has an impact. I just really don't see a spot for him with the Detroit. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about Deshone Kiser? I wasn't trying to be harsh on him. I'm just being honest. I mean, that's the whole point, right? Thank you, for watching, and I'm out.